Good morning everyone and welcome to Morning Markets from True Potential. Today we want to focus in on some of the results that we've had from the US technology companies over the past 24 hours. But firstly, let's look at markets and what happened in asset markets yesterday. Equity markets yesterday were weaker across the board, and that really comes from the performance that we saw in Asia yesterday morning, which was triggered by further regulatory pressure within the Chinese equity market. You'll remember that over the past number of months we've been talking about regulation and intervention within the Chinese market as regulatory change has impacted a number of sectors. The latest sector to be impacted yesterday was that of the education sector, and we saw very significant moves in those companies' share prices yesterday. Just looking at China in a broader sense to give you some context, if we look at an index of the leading 50 A-share, the domestically quoted companies in China, that's now down 24% from its peak in February, to give you a sense of how regulatory change and intervention has played through in that market. Now clearly that does raise concerns for investors and will increase the risk premium that is certainly applied to Chinese assets. And again, that backdrop in Asia fed through into global markets yesterday, with the UK, Europe and US market weaker across the piece. Thinking about that just a little bit more, weaker technology areas of the market, both in Europe and in the US, some of that being attributed to just the fact that we're now in the earnings seasons. We had a large number of US technology companies reporting last night, and I'll come on and discuss those in just a moment. The other piece of information I think that we can take away from the results that was coming out yesterday was just that ongoing mention of that inflationary backdrop. CEOs, CFOs talking about increasing price pressures that they're seeing, both in raw materials, but interestingly yesterday there was a few companies mentioning in terms of labour and having to increase wages as a result of that. So that's something to certainly monitor over the coming weeks as we hear more companies reporting. Durable goods orders in the US yesterday, very good, continue to show that robust recovery that we've seen. And that's important because business investment will certainly be one of the drivers that will support economic growth as we continue to move through this year. So just turning to those large technology companies, so we had Alphabet, the parent company of Google, with Microsoft and Apple reporting last night. And some expectations had been that we would start to see these companies maybe slow down in terms of their rate of growth, their rate of profit growth as we move through the pandemic, less people working at home, less demand for some of their services. That doesn't seem to be just evident as yet. The three companies combined reported profits of some 56 billion. That's a near doubling from where they reported in the same quarter last year. But also, very impressively, if you think about that, what does that sort of look like? And we think about that, it's some 5 billion per week that those companies are generating. And it's really coming through from all parts of their businesses, strength in their products, strength in digital advertising, and also strength in the use of the cloud. So key areas that were important last year, but we're continuing to see those be important for those businesses as we move through and come out the other side of the COVID impact that they saw last year. Earnings will continue to be an important driver of markets over the coming days and indeed weeks, but also we've got the FOMC meeting today, and that will be a useful indicator to see. If we remember the June meeting, we commented on the step change from some of the members there in terms of the dot plot and their expectations of QE. It'll be worth noting if any other members move in that direction as well, so something that we'll touch on tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today. Please do subscribe by just clicking the button, and you'll get all the great content from True Potential into your YouTube channel. Many thanks.
Subscribing to the True Potential YouTube channel is quick and easy. Simply go to the channel on your desktop or through the YouTube app on your phone and click the subscribe button. You can then press the notification bell symbol if you wish to be notified as and when new videos are released. Doing this